The day you stop explaining yourself to everyone is the day your real power returns. Not because the world suddenly becomes kinder. Not because people finally understand you. But because you discover a truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You were never exhausted by other people. You were exhausted by your constant need to react to them. Every argument. Every misunderstanding. Every insult. Every opinion. Every attempt to prove your worth. Piece by piece, these things stole your attention until you forgot what it felt like to belong to yourself. And once you understand this, everything changes.
Welcome to True Stoic Journal, the path to inner control.
Most people wake up every morning believing their biggest challenge is outside of them. They think their problems come from difficult people, unfair situations, criticism, rejection, and disappointment. But the Stoics understood something deeper. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself that the greatest battle is never fought against the world. It is fought within the mind. The world has always been full of noise. People judge. People misunderstand. People criticize. People project their fears and insecurities onto others. None of that is new. What destroys a person is not the existence of these things. It is the decision to surrender peace because of them. Think about how much of your life has been spent reacting. Someone questions your abilities and suddenly your mind begins preparing a defense. Someone misunderstands your intentions and you immediately search for the perfect explanation. Someone insults you and hours later you are still replaying the conversation in your head. At first it feels reasonable. It feels justified. It feels necessary. But slowly a dangerous pattern forms. Your emotions become dependent on external events. Your peace becomes dependent on other people. Your happiness becomes dependent on circumstances. And when that happens, your life is no longer your own. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when we understand the difference between what is within our control and what is not. Your thoughts are yours. Your actions are yours. Your character is yours. But another person's opinion does not belong to you. Their approval does not belong to you. Their understanding does not belong to you. Yet countless people spend their entire lives chasing things they can never truly control. They chase validation. They chase recognition. They chase agreement. They chase acceptance. And the more they chase, the more exhausted they become. Because there is no finish line. No matter how clearly you explain yourself, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how carefully you behave, someone will criticize you. No matter how much good you do, someone will dislike you. This is not a tragedy. This is reality. And accepting reality is where wisdom begins. The Stoics never taught indifference toward life. They taught indifference toward what cannot be controlled. There is a difference. You should care about your character. You should care about your actions. You should care about your principles. But you should not allow your emotional stability to depend upon things that were never yours to control in the first place. This realization changes everything. You stop trying to win every argument. You stop trying to correct every misunderstanding. You stop trying to convince every critic. You stop trying to carry the weight of other people's perceptions. And suddenly your mind becomes lighter. For the first time in years, maybe for the first time in your life, you begin to experience peace that does not depend on circumstances. There is enormous strength in silence. Not the silence of fear. Not the silence of weakness. The silence of discipline. Most people react immediately because they are uncomfortable with uncertainty. They feel a powerful urge to respond, defend, justify, explain, or prove themselves. Their emotions demand action. Their ego demands recognition. But a disciplined mind understands something important. Not every situation deserves your energy. Not every comment deserves your attention. Not every conflict deserves your participation. Not every misunderstanding deserves clarification. The strongest people are not those who win every battle. The strongest people are those who know which battles are not worth fighting. Seneca once warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Consider how true this is. A single comment can occupy someone's mind for days. A minor disagreement can destroy an entire week. A stranger's opinion can influence major life decisions. Why? Because people continue feeding situations long after the situation itself has ended. The event is over. But the mind keeps replaying it. The conversation is finished. But the imagination keeps extending it. The criticism has passed. But the memory keeps reviving it. This is how energy disappears. Not through action, but through unnecessary mental attachment. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He recognized that every moment spent dwelling on things outside his control was a moment stolen from his purpose. Purpose requires focus. Focus requires discipline. Discipline requires control. And control begins with attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention constantly follows drama, conflict, gossip, criticism, and distraction, your life will reflect those things. If your attention follows growth, wisdom, discipline, and purpose, your life will reflect those things instead. This is why selective attention is one of the greatest forms of power. The average person gives attention away freely. They react to everything. Respond to everything. Worry about everything. Think about everything. They become emotionally available to every disturbance that crosses their path. And because of this, their inner world remains unstable. A Stoic mind operates differently. It asks a simple question. Does this deserve my energy? Not every problem deserves a solution. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every opportunity deserves acceptance. Not every person deserves access to your peace. The moment you begin filtering life through this question, your entire experience changes. Your mind becomes calmer. Your decisions become clearer. Your emotions become steadier. And your confidence becomes stronger. Not loud confidence. Not arrogant confidence. Quiet confidence. The kind that comes from self-mastery. The kind that does not need validation. The kind that does not seek approval. The kind that remains stable whether people praise you or criticize you. This is the confidence the Stoics cultivated. A confidence rooted in character rather than reputation. Because reputation belongs to others. Character belongs to you. Reputation changes constantly. Character remains. Reputation depends on opinions. Character depends on choices. One is fragile. The other is powerful. As you continue developing this mindset, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling responsible for how everyone sees you. You stop carrying emotional burdens that were never yours. You stop wasting energy on people determined to misunderstand you. You begin trusting your own judgment. You begin respecting your own values. You begin living according to your own principles. And this creates a level of freedom that most people never experience. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is not controlling other people. Freedom is not escaping responsibility. Freedom is mastering yourself. A person who cannot control their reactions is controlled by their environment. A person who cannot control their emotions is controlled by circumstances. A person who cannot control their impulses is controlled by other people. But a person who masters their inner world becomes truly free. Not because challenges disappear, but because challenges no longer dictate their state of mind. This is the hidden advantage of Stoicism. While others waste energy reacting, you conserve it. While others chase validation, you build character. While others fight unnecessary battles, you focus on meaningful goals. While others lose themselves in distraction, you remain centered. Day after day, this difference compounds. Small acts of discipline become powerful habits. Small moments of restraint become lasting strength. Small choices become a transformed life. There is another lesson that most people discover too late. The more you react to everything, the less energy you have for the things that truly matter. Every unnecessary argument takes something from you. Every attempt to prove yourself drains a little more focus. Every effort spent chasing approval leaves less strength available for your purpose. Look at the people who achieve meaningful things in life. They are rarely the ones involved in every conflict. They are rarely the ones defending themselves against every criticism. They are rarely the ones trying to control how everyone sees them. Their energy is directed toward creation rather than reaction. While others are busy arguing, they are building. While others are distracted by opinions, they are improving. While others are seeking validation, they are developing mastery. This is why emotional discipline is not merely a philosophical idea. It is a practical advantage. Every moment you refuse to engage with unnecessary negativity becomes a moment invested in your growth. Every distraction you ignore becomes additional focus. Every emotional trigger you overcome becomes evidence of your increasing strength. Over time, this creates momentum. You become less concerned with what people think and more concerned with what you are becoming. You stop measuring your value through external approval and start measuring it through internal progress. That shift changes everything because progress is within your control, while approval never was. The Stoics understood that a meaningful life is built from consistent actions rather than emotional reactions. They knew that greatness is not created in dramatic moments. It is created through daily discipline. Through small decisions repeated over and over again. Through the willingness to choose wisdom when emotion demands otherwise. And perhaps that is the greatest freedom of all. To know that your peace cannot be taken by criticism. To know that your confidence cannot be destroyed by rejection. To know that your direction cannot be interrupted by the opinions of people who are not walking your path. When you reach that point, life becomes simpler. Clearer. Stronger. Because you are no longer fighting the world. You are mastering yourself. Eventually people notice something different about you. You appear calmer. More focused. More grounded. Harder to provoke. Harder to manipulate. Harder to control. Not because you are trying to impress anyone. But because self-mastery naturally creates presence. And presence naturally creates respect. In the end, the lesson is simple. Protect your peace. Guard your attention. Choose your battles carefully. Refuse to surrender your energy to things that do not deserve it. The world will always offer distractions. People will always offer opinions. Circumstances will always present challenges. But your power lies in deciding what deserves access to your mind. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you begin directing your life instead of merely responding to it. And that is the moment your true strength emerges. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to True Stoic Journal. Together, we continue building a life guided by wisdom, discipline, and unshakable inner peace. Remember this: the strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who remains master of himself when everyone else has surrendered control.